On October 3rd, 1995, the entire country watched as the verdict for O.J. Simpson's trial was read, and 20 years later, on the anniversary of this intense trial, playwright David McMillan premiered his play, Watching O.J., at the Ensemble Studio Theater in Los Angeles, and Celi's Hangout was there.
I'll tell you where O.J. made his first mistake. O.J. killed the wrong wife. If he had killed Marguerite instead of Nicole, nobody would have gave a good goddamn about this case.
You really think O.J. Simpson was framed? You really think somebody that rich and that famous was a victim of racial prejudice?
They may not find him guilty, but he damn sure ain't innocent.
Watching O.J. brings all kinds of emotions to the surface for its audiences. And thankfully, we were able to sit down with the creative team for a talkback.
David, you've written a fantastic piece.
Thank you.
I've had the pleasure of seeing it first preview, and now seeing it now, how much it's grown and developed. But the show is called Watching O.J., but O.J.'s not in it.
Right.
What created that choice?
Sort of one of the ironies.
Right.
Yeah, the show is really not about the O.J. Simpson trial per se. A lot of people still remember that trial. They watched it every day. I was interested in how people watched the trial and what it brought out in people. I want to commend our wonderful director, Keith Sarabika, right here, who's been such a passionate advocate of the play, and realized that at the heart of it, it was really a family drama. It was about people who worked together, some were related to each other, who were brought together in this one moment, and it revealed so much about who they were and what they didn't know about the other person. And I think that there are these times in our culture, and I think we're experiencing it now, first with the Trayvon Martin case, Ferguson, all of these police brutality incidents that have happened recently that reveal just what a wide chasm there still is in terms of how we view the police, the justice system. And it's funny, we started working on this play, the very, very first stage readings were in 2012, and people asked me, OJ, why is that relevant? Like, how are these issues, how are these things that you're writing about actually of the moment? And sadly and tragically, they have become more relevant as we have moved forward. So a lot of the conversations that these characters are having in the play are characters that people are having now about the things that are going on. But really, fundamentally, it's not about O.J. Simpson, it's not about the specifics of the case, it's about these people and the things, the hurtful things that we say to each other when we've been hurt and attacked.
I think it is relevant, even though it's from 1995. I think that one of the things that we're dealing with is, we have 350 years of slavery to deal with, and I think it's taken 2 generations for us to get there, to even come to where we're at now. We still haven't completed the journey, and I think that, that plays like this, one of the reasons why I, as an artistic director here, wanted to do it, was because I want to engender the conversation that I believe we need to have in order to continue the process.
I think white people were more shocked by the reaction of African Americans. I think there was a real genuine, oh my God, what? Because I remember being in high school at the time, and my white friends just couldn't understand what they were watching, what they were processing. And there are photographs, I'm sure some of you have seen them, of integrated groups of people watching the TV screen, and the black people are cheering, and the white people look like someone's died. And so it really brought out this fissure that I think still exists. We're able to sort of get through it, and move on. And hey, we have elected an African American president, and we believed for a moment we were entering a post-racial society, and then we realized we didn't.
You chose to make Jamal. Why did you find it important to have him so militant, so black consciously? I was surprised when his mother said that he had never had a black girl.
I just thought it was an interesting facet of his character, and I think what makes characters interesting are their contradictions. And in our community especially, it is something that, still to this day, maybe not openly, but when black folks are amongst themselves, it riles up a lot of emotions.
In doing my research to live Jamal, I personally in my life, you know, I've struggled at times, you know, I'm black and all the different things that black means, and me being the kind of black man that I am, all the other things that I wasn't. You know, for me growing up, it was kind of rough in trying to be cool and have swag and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, quite literally being challenged. White people say you talk this way, black people say you're not black enough. So all that stuff, and ultimately starting to own that stuff, and then still want my own identity and being able to do whatever I want. And I'm saying Kareem, but then also going into Jamal, I'm like, yeah, he's got all this love for his people and totally proud of being black, but I can also still make my choices, and if it happens to be this girl who's white, so what? And I did battle back and forth, well, is it the white is right thing? Is that the prize? All that sort of, all this kind of turmoil Jamal, me, have gone through in trying to wrestle with my own identity.
Became such an important point for our relationship, because, as I said before, it's just never talked about. I don't see it in theater. I don't see that this issue about black women, African American women's feelings about this particular issue is not dealt with, not publicly. And so I was very appreciative that it's in the script, that it's a topic that is so important, and that Cordia has such a strong feeling about it.
I had something I wanted to throw out for my artists. Any of us could have chosen any profession, but we've chosen the artistic path. Can art change the conversation in this country?
I think it absolutely can. And take my hat off to David for writing this play where, I mean, look, we're all doing it right now. Right. We're all sitting here talking about it because of the play. And so, yeah, I think.
I think it's our duty to do it. You know, my theory on it is that we should have an affect on our society, that if we are going to take the time to do something, that it should have some sort of resonance.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's why we create art, right? I mean, at least for me, like, one of the most powerful things about working on this play is that it can make a difference, and that I feel like I'm working on something that is like meaningful and can make a dent in our conversation and the way we talk about race in LA. And even in the interracial relationship and everything in the play, like, there's stuff that makes me as a person uncomfortable, but I'm forced to face it every time I step into this play. And it's not only changing me, but I think it's changing the conversation.
I hope so.
And that's what I think, that's the job of the artist, is to be courageous and to provoke and to be willing to say things that sometimes people don't necessarily want to hear, but is truthful. It's our job is to be honest and to portray the human condition in all of its facets. And it's the kind of work that excites me. And I know we're in Hollywood, and a lot of what we see is about pure entertainment, but I get juiced up mainly when I get a script like this, and when the material is relevant in my life, and I can say something that hasn't been said before, like what we were talking about earlier, and provoke a conversation.
Mark this day on your calendar, folks. October 3rd, 1995. The day white America finally got a taste of what it's like to be black. But don't worry, it ain't permanent. We'll be white again tomorrow.
Thank you guys.